Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I do. Oh,
It's okay.
I'm afraid of the reality. Oh my God, I'm afraid of the reality. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic has been weighing heavy on my chest, and it's time we talk about it. No filters, no sugarcoating. This story centers on Ashley Braxton. And no, she's not one of the Braxton sisters you see on TV every week. Ashley is Michael Braxton's daughter. Michael is the only brother in the Braxton family, and that alone puts him in a completely different lane. We all know the sisters, Tony, Tamar, Tracy, Tawanda, and Trina. Their lives, their drama, their victories have all played out in the public eye. But Michael? He's been a ghost. No reality show appearances. No interviews. No viral family moments. No explanations. While the Braxton name became a household brand, Michael quietly disappeared from the spotlight, and now his daughter Ashley is at the center of a story that raises some uncomfortable questions the family has never publicly addressed. And once you hear this, you'll understand why this conversation can't be ignored any longer.
Manager Vincent Herbert ended, and she made the heartbreaking revelation that as a child, she was molested by multiple family members. As she tried to heal, Tamar rebounded with a new love, David Adefeso, and another show, Tamar Braxton.
And that silence? It's always felt loud, whether people wanted to admit it or not. So today, we're digging into why that absence might not be random at all. After my last video, the comments went crazy. Many of you pointed out something important. Tamar has survived abuse. And honestly, I didn't fully understand how deep it went until I went back and watched her old interviews and clips for myself. Once I did, everything started clicking. Moments that once felt confusing suddenly made sense. The dots connected in ways that were impossible to ignore. That's when Ashley came back into the picture. At first, I thought, okay, that's just her niece. Maybe they're close like that. But no, this runs deeper. Much deeper. Tamar and Ashley share something painful, something heavy, something most families don't know how to talk about. They both lived through abuse. And when you really sit with that truth, you begin to understand why their bond feels different, stronger, more protective, almost instinctual. And this is where things start getting uncomfortable. Because when two stories line up this closely, you can't help but notice the same shadow showing up in both. That common thread is impossible to ignore. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, let's talk about Michael Braxton, and I need to be crystal clear from the jump. I am not making direct accusations. Period. This is about following the trail, lining up what's been said publicly, and asking smart, responsible questions when patterns start appearing. When you listen closely, something starts forming that's hard to brush off. Think about it like this. If there were two separate fires in two different houses, and the same person just happened to be present when both fires started, you wouldn't instantly blame them. But let's be real, you'd want answers. You'd want details. You'd want context. That's exactly where we are right now. So let's slow this down and look at Tamar's timeline. Tamar has publicly stated that she experienced abuse from the ages of 6 to 16. That's a full decade of her childhood. During that period, Michael was older than her, moving from his teenage years into young adulthood. Tamar also revealed another crucial detail that can't be ignored. She said there were two perpetrators involved. That alone raises questions about who was present in the household and who had consistent access during those years. Now here's where things get even heavier. Michael's own daughter, Ashley, has spoken out about her experiences. She has said she was bullied by her father and claimed she was told to stay quiet about what went on inside their home. Those are her words, not speculation, not rumors. When stories from two different generations echo the same kind of pain, it should make everyone pause. Ask yourself this: why would anyone tell a child not to talk about what happens at home? What's being protected? What's being buried? When a child is taught that their truth is dangerous, that silence is safer, that's not normal family behavior. That's control. That's fear. That's creating an environment where a child feels trapped and unheard. And enforced silence usually means someone doesn't want questions asked. Now let's talk about something else that just doesn't sit right. Why is Michael never on the show? We know the sisters inside and out, their fights, their trauma, their healing journeys. Cameras have followed them everywhere. But Michael? He's practically invisible. No presence. No explanation. Just gone. And here's what makes it hit harder. His own daughter has publicly labeled his behavior as abusive. That didn't come from gossip blogs or outsiders. It came directly from his child. When you stack that on top of his complete absence, something starts feeling seriously off. I've rewatched Tamar's interviews over and over, and every time, the empathy hits deeper. You start noticing the dysfunctional patterns, the emotional gaps, the things that were never addressed. And once you truly understand Tamar's pain, it becomes impossible not to see how it mirrors Ashley's story. Ashley has spoken about feeling abandoned, manipulated, and emotionally neglected. When you place her experiences next to Tamar's, the similarities are hard to miss, and that's where everything starts to hit differently. So next, I want to reference a few public interviews, starting with Tamar's conversation on Tamron Hall. Because context matters, and that interview was heavy from beginning to end. Let's break it down together.
Unconscious after a suicide attempt. What was that moment like for you? You all being so close and living your life so publicly. What was that moment like for your family?
Go ahead, Trina.
Well, first of all, I was very disappointed in finding out via social media because our family is closer than that. And to have someone else regurgitate that story to us. Well, I can only speak for me. But for someone else to tell me the story of something that happened to my own family is very disheartening. And as a family member, I would not have allowed that 911 call to happen the way that it did. And I think that as protectors of our family, as protectors of our sister, I think things would have gone differently had we known at the time that it happened.
How did the 911 call get out?
On social media.
Was it the boyfriend?
I'm sorry?
How did the tape get out? Was it the boyfriend that put it out?
We have no idea how it came out. We just know, we know as much as you guys know. That I have to be honest. We don't know all the details of what transpired before that happened. We don't know what happened while the paramedics were there. We have no idea. We just know what you guys know. We know what we heard from the 911 call. As Trina stated, we heard everything on social media. Trina called me in the wee hours of the morning, and that's how I found out. And I looked on social media and was like, why is this everywhere? And we don't know about this. I just think that the protocol should be, you call the family members first, and then, and then allow it to leak out to the media.
Whose fault?
I wouldn't have done it that way.
Whose fault is that though? Is it network? Is it because that?
I don't. That's not network. That's not network. Wasn't there.
That's an inner person.
Right. Network wasn't there. The network wasn't there.
How would they know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Then they found out the same way that we found out on social media.
So what do y'all think about David?
Oh, I don't. I have my own life. I don't think about David.
Who?
David.
Who? I'm Mariah Carey. Who?
The guy with the dreads.
Who? And then
My
Mariah
husband.
said about you. Who?
My husband has threats.
Well, moving on. After the trailer of season 7 of Braxton Family Values was released, Tamar took to social media to voice her concerns about being used for a storyline. She posted, "I am no longer employed by WeTV, and they're still using my hurt and me to make a coin." What do you think about that? And is it fair for the network to cover that?
Well, I'm going to say this very blatantly and very honestly. During season 7 of Braxton Family Values, we do not talk about Tamar's physical or mental health. We talk about how it affected us, but we do not physically address Tamar's hurt, pain, or experience. We can't speak to that. Tamar has her own story to tell, and it's very important for Tamar to tell her story in her way whenever she decides to tell it. We in no way, shape, or form addressed how Tamar is doing or how Tamar is feeling. We only addressed how we felt, as we're doing now, how we felt when the situation happened, when it came to us. We have no horse in that race.
Tamar shared far more than most people expected, and you could feel just how emotional it was. She spoke openly about long-term childhood harm spanning from the ages of 6 to 16. And that timeline keeps resurfacing for a reason. She also talked about feeling deeply betrayed by people she trusted the most, especially when it came to how her personal pain was handled behind the scenes. Tamar brought up her experience on Ayanla, Fix My Life, and explained that instead of feeling protected, she felt exposed, used for television rather than cared for. She revealed that a family member shared her personal trauma with producers without her consent. And that's not just hurtful, that's a serious breach of trust. Having your most vulnerable moments turned into content can reopen wounds that never fully healed. One part of that interview really stood out. Tamar used the phrase domestically abused to describe what she went through. And that wording matters. Generally speaking, that term points to control, coercion, and harmful behavior within a household, often involving people who are supposed to provide safety and protection. This isn't about sensationalism. It's about understanding the environment she says she survived. When you listen closely, her story isn't just emotional, it paints a picture of systemic dysfunction. And once you recognize that pattern, it becomes impossible to ignore. Tamar was very deliberate with her words, and that intentionality matters. Let me be clear here. I am not accusing anyone of anything. I'm explaining what those words typically mean and why they carry weight in this context. This is why Ashley's statements feel so closely connected to Tamar's story. If Tamar felt dismissed when she spoke up, it's not hard to understand why Ashley might fear the same reaction. There's a pattern here that deserves attention. When families avoid difficult conversations, protect certain narratives, or encourage silence over accountability, long-term harm is the result. And when two people from different generations describe feeling unheard or invalidated, it raises serious concerns about how emotional safety was handled in that environment. So this is where the questions come in, and again, I want to be very clear. Tamar herself has consistently stated that more than one person was involved in what she experienced. Asking who was present in the household during that time is not the same as making accusations. It's about context. It's about responsibility. I'm not claiming certainty. I don't have all the answers. But when timelines overlap, stories echo one another, and silence keeps showing up, it's natural and necessary to ask hard questions. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. This is heavy, uncomfortable material. No doubt about it. But conversations like this matter. When stories stay buried and patterns go unexamined, cycles continue. Bringing light to difficult truths isn't about tearing families down. It's about breaking cycles that should never be repeated. Because when silence wins, more people get hurt, more voices stay quiet, and more questions get pushed aside instead of answered. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I truly appreciate you for rocking with me and staying locked in. If this story hit you in any way, hit that like button. It really helps push these conversations forward. Share this video, make sure you're subscribed, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. And drop a comment below respectfully. Do you see the connections? Do you feel like there's more beneath the surface here? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.